Steve, it goes out saying that this is a big game, and a big game for the City as well, given your experience in the FA Cup a couple of years back. You're in the last 8 now, the League Cup.
Well, we said a couple of years ago that, when you were a Premier League club, when we were at the time, and the draw was quite favourable to us, and you get the quarter-finals and semi-final stages, then of course they become big games and enjoyable ones. I think we're taking 5,000 or 6,000 or whatever it is, which shows just exactly what it means to the supporters. Once you have a cup run, then it can generate a lot of interest, because let's be fair, we're never going to win the Premier League, So, 2-3 years ago, I thought, well, any club that's in the Premier League or top of the Championship can have a favourable draw. The draw could have been a bit easier, but look, who would have thought Sheffield Wednesday would turn over Arsenal the way they did, or Middlesbrough turn over Man U? We've got to play to a maximum, of course, and hope that City have one of them off days, which doesn't happen very often, but let's go and enjoy the occasion, enjoy the game, and go and see if we can have a crack at them.
It goes without saying, you never want to see any professional injured, but was there a little bit of you on Saturday that heard Sergio Aguero left the field that thought, well, it's not going to be against us on Tuesday?
Well, I mean, look, the fella's a world-class player, isn't he? And he's up there with the best, of what he's done in England over the years. He's arguably been one of the best players. So the last thing you want for any professional is to be injured. And then, of course, you just look at the squad in depth, and they bring on Bonnie, and Silva's on the bench, and they move Yaya Toure to a centre-forward position, and you just think, well, that's the strength of them. In forward areas, they are exceptional. So really, it doesn't matter who you play, it's what we're going to try and do to try and stop them from playing. And then, like we did last year in the Premier League, we caused them a few problems. We were only a minute away from beating them last year, so let's go and have a crack, play well on the night, and go and enjoy the occasion and see if we're going to be good enough.
With that performance in mind from last season, how do you approach this game again? Because there's a train of thought that you can just park the bus, but you have to express yourself.
Well, I think if you just park the bus, you've got to cause them a threat if you can. And we did it last year. We managed to do that last year, and cause them a few problems, and rightly so, and deserved the draw, if not probably deserved to win it. But the one thing we did do was play well. I think that's the key to it. You have to go and perform. And if you perform to your best and it's not good enough, then fine. But if it goes and is too much for us, then you don't want that, which I'm convinced that won't happen. We'll go and have a right good crack at them.
Is this team now, even though you're in a division lower, in a better position mentally than you were when you went there last year?
Well, I think the difficulty, if you've always been in the Premier League and in and around the bottom half or in and around the bottom 3 or 4, is a club like ours, you lose more than you win. And of course then confidence starts to drain away, and we see how difficult it is now, where 2 huge clubs like Aston Villa and Newcastle are having a struggle. That's how hard it is. And they don't really feel confident in themselves. And I think that's the key to it, is to try and remain confident that, even though you're losing more than you win, then you can try and keep an air of confidence that you can believe that you can go and get something. Now, up until Friday, we hadn't been beaten for 4 months. So, we've had a really consistent run. We've only lost 3 out of 22 games. And rightly so, we can feel a bit confident, even though we lost on Friday. So we've got to have the belief that we can go and mount a challenge against them and take them on. And it's one of them ones where really it's just go and enjoy yourselves. Go and enjoy yourselves. We've had a good cup run again. And let's see if we can, challenge arguably one of the best teams in Europe.
And in terms of team news, fitness and concerns, how are you shaking?
No, we're okay. Mo Diarmi looks as if he's okay. We've got 18 training this morning, so we've got Andy Robertson will welcome back. He's done his suspension. Still too early for Dawson, but we're okay from Friday.
Steve, do you shake it up a little bit like you've done in previous rounds, or
yeah, I think that's important for the squad players who've been in and around the squad. They need to play, and I've done that in the past, and it'll be no different on tomorrow night.
You said on Friday that you blamed yourself for the setback.
Yeah.
With that unbeaten run coming to an end.
Yeah.
But Do you feel over the last couple of days that you're going to get the reaction that you're looking for?
Well, I shoulder the responsibility. I changed this round too much, you know, in the way we set up. You know, we'd been going along very, very nicely. And unfortunately, Andy Robertson, suspension, left that, you know, I should have just, in hindsight, just made a straight change. Instead, I moved me right back to left back and put me right-hand side player to right back and made a mistake. So I think, you know, even, you know, 800 games in, you still got to give yourself a smack now and again and say, what the hell are you doing? And sometimes in hindsight, it's easy. But so, you know, in that respect, I blame myself for the first 20, 25 minutes. Certainly second half, we were much better and more accustomed to playing the way we were. So we'll make sure that people are playing in the right position tomorrow night.
And you've also said, obviously, that you need to play well to beat
Yeah,
Manchester City. But these elite clubs, this is a competition that they're taking seriously now.
Well, once against
they're putting in youth
players. to this stage, then I think everybody takes it seriously enough. But I think the big clubs traditionally have used it as a way to see their young players and are they good enough. And I think Arsene Wenger was saying about his young Arsenal players that they weren't ready. So obviously it's taught them one or two things, and then so if you know. But once you get to this stage, Man City will be looking at it and thinking, well, Arsenal are out, Chelsea are out, Man U are out, so there's a path forward for them, and we've got to also think the same thing, that you know, if we can mount a great upset, then we'll give ourselves a chance, which we did 18 months ago in the FA Cup. You know, once it started and it gets a bit of momentum, then let's go and enjoy a cup run, which is great, and great for the city and great for the supporters, because it was the last time we took 5,000-6,000 people away from home was probably in the FA Cup, which people enjoyed.
And it brings momentum as well, doesn't it?
It brings a bit of momentum, and one that we should really look forward to. You know, we're going to play against one of the biggest clubs in Europe, and against the great players. And if you're a player, or manager or coach, you always want to pit your wits against the best, and certainly these are as good as they get. So let's go and enjoy the challenge.